Breaking from Hallis Hall, this is Bears News Fan Report, your trusted feed for updated news and real rumors about our beloved team, where I blend insider context with clear tape and cap talk so you know exactly what's real and what wins on Sunday. So smash that like, subscribe, ring the bell, and let's lock in, because I'm about to walk you through the secondary stress points after that 47-42 thriller, the market sweet-spotted corner, the skill set that answers our biggest headache, how the money fits, what a fair offer looks like, how the rotation changes in Week 10, what it means for January matchups, and then I'll plant a flag on the move I'd make. Quick briefing to set the table without spoiling the payoff. First, what the Bengals tape actually exposed. Bunch stacks, return motion, layered overs that force tough pass-offs. Then the profile we need, inside-outside corner who can survive at nickel on Tuesday and hold up outside on Sunday, tackle in space and carry verticals with clean eyes. Then the contract reality and draft cost lanes that make sense for a true buyer. And finally, the on-field ripple if we land the target. Now, context with honesty. At 5-3, Chicago is in the thick of a real playoff chase, and in a division that punishes sloppy leverage, every marginal win matters because seeding becomes the difference between playing with noise at your back or drowning in someone else's cadence. Through 9 weeks, we've built this defense on effort, structure, and takeaway hunger. But when opponents want to poke the bear, they've been attacking our nickel spacing with return motions and stacked releases that force a corner to choose between protecting the seam and driving the out. When that timing is off by a beat, explosive plays follow, and the rush doesn't get the extra half second to close. We don't need a savior, we need a smart piece whose versatility tightens the top of the coverage and lets the front win on schedule. That's why the name in my file tonight is Saints cornerback Alante Taylor, and before anyone yells hype, I'm going straight to the facts from this season. 8 games, 7 starts, 4 pass breakups, 1 sack, and the best coverage grade of his career at 68.8, delivered on a defense that's logged too many snaps and still asked him to handle both the big slot world and boundary duties. He's in the final year of his rookie deal, which means low cap friction now and leverage later. Extended a sensible AAV if he hits, take the rental and a comp pick path if the market goes bonkers. More important than numbers, though, is what the tape says in the details. His press bail is patient, quiet feet, square hips, inside hand ready, so he wins the first 2 steps and doesn't panic grab. In zone match, he squeezes the seam, passes off crossing routes, and plays top down with honest eyes. He triggers on screens with real intent, fits the alley like he means it, and when he blitzes from the slot, he understands angle and depth. Not sprinting past the mesh point, but arriving where the quarterback doesn't expect help. When he misses to leverage and gets the ball back to help, which is exactly how you coach it. Now drop that into our room and watch how the pieces recalibrate. Jalen Johnson remains your mirror and pocket eraser on WR1. Tyreek Stevenson uses length and hands to disrupt the boundary release. Kyler Gordon becomes the motion eraser and pressure nickel again, instead of being stuck in fire drill duty. And Taylor gives you a true big slot answer who can also flip outside when matchups demand it. On 3x1, you can lock Johnson to the X, keep Stevenson boundary, kick Taylor inside on the point of the bunch to deny the free release, and let Gordon green dog when the back stays in to protect. If you want to run man match on a heavy stack, Taylor's patient feet at the point let your other corners banjo routes without getting picked off at the break. That has a real knock-on effect for the rush. Quick game blunts less often, edges get the extra half beat, and your simulated pressures, 4-man looks that still hit like 5, regain bite because the backside corners aren't bailing water. Coverage and rush finally shake hands again. Scheme-wise, adding Taylor opens buttons you want back for December football. Late rotate to quarters and robber without gifting the slot seam, play cover 3 buzz with trap checks to steal outs on 3rd and 5, and go back to the dime looks that put 4 true corners on the field in 2 minutes without asking a safety to live on an island. With Taylor, your nickel isn't an emergency patch, it's a weapon. Now the math, because this channel never hides the ledger. As a 4th-year player on a rookie deal, Taylor's remaining 2025 money is light enough to slide in without moving furniture, and there's no long tail of dead cap. If he fits, you talk 2 to 3 year extension in the second corner tier with playtime escalators. If he's just a stretch run rental, you enjoy the snaps and then let the comp formula work for you next spring. What's a fair trade price this close to the deadline for a starter-tapeable inside-outside corner on an expiring rookie contract? The modern lane is conditional day 3. Think a fifth that escalates to a fourth on snap rate and team achievement triggers, or a 5-for-6 swap that mimics the same value. The aim is raise your floor without bleeding the future. Anything drifting into day 2 capital becomes a discipline test. You tip the cap and pivot, risk and counter, because every player has warts. Taylor can get grabby if he loses at the line on a perfect stack and sell, and he's better through the hands than at high-pointing skyscraper types, so you don't want him isolated forever on vertical aliens. Coaching points are clear. Give him inside leverage when the boundary bully lives at 8 yards, roll a late safety when offenses hunt the slot seam, and trust his eyes and pattern match because that's where he's at his best. Flags trend down with technique, and the tackling temperament is Sunday strong. Special teams value exists if needed. He's done gunner work, which matters when NFC North games swing on hidden yards in the wind. Now, how exactly does this tilt playoff matchups you and I have already circled? Against offenses that funnel WR1 into the slot for option routes, you put Taylor on the big slot and keep your shell intact. Against tight end-centric seams, you get a nickel who tackles and squeezes windows, not a bodyguarding grass. Against speed stacks, you have 3 corners who can pass off without collisions, leaving post safety free to hunt the quarterback's eyes. That shifts third down math. Fewer explosives, longer opponent drives, higher chance your offense steals 1 extra possession per half, and late-game leverage that belongs to the team with the last fresh corner in the tank. The rotation on Sunday, if the move lands, is clean and calm. Johnson on the alpha, Stevenson outside to the speed side, Taylor as the big slot screwdriver who can bump out when matchups flip, Gordon toggling between nickel pressure and motion eraser, safeties free from babysitting the slot so they can trigger downhill and bait throws. Your dime becomes a real package on second and long and end of half, not a hope and pray alignment. Practice week integration is realistic too. Nickel verbiage is compact, landmark rules are consistent, and a pro with Taylor's rep learns the 10 base calls on Wednesday, walks through the checks on Thursday, and plays meaningful snaps on Sunday. The question is not can he play, it's how much do you ask in week 1, and the answer is enough to help, not enough to overload. Simple. I want to plant the flag now that I've laid the film and the finance. If the ask sits in the conditional day 3 lane, I'd pull the trigger today, because slot toughness plus outside insurance plus contract flexibility is exactly what a true buyer adds when the standings get tight. If the number inflates into day 2, I stay disciplined and keep developing in-house while monitoring the waiver wire. Clean and direct, the Bears have earned a move that raises the floor without touching next April, and Alante Taylor fits that description better than the flashier names whose price ignores cap reality. Before we close, I want your read in the comments. Greenlight a conditional fifth that bumps to a fourth on snap and playoff triggers to solidify nickel and strengthen the perimeter, or hold the pick and ride internal growth into December. Give me your third down 5 for a 1-score road game. Tell me which shell you'd major in with Taylor active. More quarters match with robber rotations, or more cover 3 buzz with trap outs, and point to the exact matchup on our schedule you think this flips. I'll feature the sharpest breakdowns on the next upload. My final analysis, concise and professional, Alante Taylor to Chicago is a cap-sane, tape-sound deadline play that upgrades inside-outside flexibility, stabilizes third down spacing, and lets the pass rush win on schedule without sacrificing draft health. If the price stays in that conditional day 3 band, I make the call. This is how 5-3 becomes January football. Stay locked, subscribe, tap the bell because I'll keep you ahead of the phone calls and bring you every update at the second it breaks on Bears News Fan Report.